Oh, Epic trying to kill me. 3 games, 1 week. Alright, let's do this. We had 3 games. 2 of them are pretty similar, so we're going to tackle those, and then we're going to go with the other ones. And to be completely honest, I don't really have all that much to say about that last game because I played it for about an hour and a half, and I'm already finished with that one. So what were those 3 games? First, we had Deponia, Pillars of the Earth, and the first 3. So let's kick it off. First, we got Deponia. It's going to be the first target of our little speech today, so we got more puzzle games. It's a point-and-click adventure game where you start off playing Rufus trying to get to this place called Elysium. The first puzzle is literally him trying to pack up what he believes is going to be essentials, and because he's sick and tired of living in this junk heap of a place. And first you got to gather up these 4 specific things, and the developers lock you into this room and kind of figure out that you got to essentially just leave you here. And basically it's just this tutorial. And I knew that's exactly what the developers want because I left the commentary on, and I decided to click it and see what happens. And they literally tell you that's exactly what they want. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit. To work out these puzzles, you have to mouse over literally everything. And you pick up whatever the mouse changes on. And then it goes into this drop-down inventory in which you carry stuff around, and then you can put it in these select locations, and then you pull it back out of the inventory and you place it in other locations. The problems kind of start out whenever you don't put things in the exact order that it wants you to put things in. You know you have all the pieces, but, square peg, round hole. It's incredibly infuriating at times. And you know what? This freaking toothbrush was the bane of my existence and everything that is holy. What was it saying? Oh, right. So once you do finally get everything, Rufus, ever the engineer, does the logical thing to do. Strap himself to the rocket and lets things fly. Okay, he doesn't want to go the way he did, that's for sure, but it becomes painfully obvious how much of a screw-up Rufus is. But off to Elysium he goes. Kinda. This is where the story takes a turn. One you see coming like a dirty window. He comes crashing down, but not before you end up running into the female protagonist's story goal. But by the time you can talk to her, she's out cold. You have to wake her up with a stimulant that needs to be brewed. I took a moment after this just to find a neat little plan that Rufus has, and it shows up that you're supposed to do, and I think it's really cool how they show it written down on a piece of paper, but I didn't get any further than this. Ran out of my hour and a half, and I went on to our next game. The Pillars of the Earth. Once again, another point-and-click adventure with a very much different style in art, story, almost everything. Starts off deep in the woods where you are a middle-aged man with his family. You seem to be traveling to another city looking for work. The man is an architect, or as they call him in this game, a builder. And honestly, the only reason that I can remember this is because it was weird. His name was Tom Builder. There was a huge difference when it came to so many things. First, it felt like there was this weight to the game, as well as a small sense of urgency in dialogue. One of the options was actually to say nothing at all. by just not picking an option within a certain amount of time, which I think more games need. This man, Tom, was a character who had a dream that just hit deep inside. He wants to build a cathedral, and this isn't just a small, minor dream. It was this man's life goal, and he dedicated everything to it. You can hear his voice crack whenever he tells his wife, "I may never build a cathedral." Which, honestly, peak voice acting, by the way. He shares this dream with his children because they just don't understand it, all before things get way out of hand. The mother's water breaks and things go bad fast. You hear your older son say, "That's a lot of blood," and you're given a bunch of options to help. And I did not do well at all. I've done well in emergency situations in real life, but this took me way too long to realize that, oh, there's options to actually pertain to real life situations here. This is a thing. Like, I don't know if the mother can make it or not, but in my game, well, let's refer to the fact that I just did not do well. I was just engrossed in the stories that were going on here, and when the scene was over, I just left with, oof. Ugh. I was excited to see what happened further with his family. I was kind of pumped. I don't get many games that I get yanked in my heartstrings deep inside. And plucked like an unwanted harp. And there I was, wondering who the crap is Philip. So, Brother Philip, new character, shows up in Kingsbridge, where he's supposed to meet up with the head prior for something. You show up, someone else is giving a speech about what he will do when he becomes head prior once he's elected. And they're not happy at all when you interrupt. Which you do because you're very confused. You find out the old prior's dead, you meet up with your brother, as in your biological brother, not as in like, "Oh, brother James. Preacher." No, I got really confused. Because it took me a moment. Everyone's calling each other brother here. Your brother informs you that there's like a political intrigue plot going on in the capital, and he needs your help tracking down a knight who was here because everyone here trusts you, and he's this stranger who's shown up. And he gives you a subtle nod as to a time frame of the world, speaking about William the Conqueror. So it kind of gives you this nice subtle nod as to like the effects of the church and the time frame, so you know kind of what all's happening and what to expect in the world, which I think is really cool. I like the idea that this is set up in our world and everything. And the fact that you don't have to deal with a freaking toothbrush that has a mind of its own. So of the two of these, I think I liked Pillars of the Earth more. The setting was much darker, and I counted 3 bodies while I played the game. I felt like there was more consequences, and it showed you what happened in the game at the end of each section. Though I did only get to the end of Tom Builder's section, it did make it feel as though you could possibly have changed some things, whether it could have or not. I also never really felt like I was very stuck either, which I think is a plus. I did wander around several times, but I think the gritty atmosphere was very telling on how serious what was going on is, considering how the previous head prior, having committed suicide because the devil had come to Kingsbridge, was considered the reason. It was just one of many several things I think has just made it a better story. But Deponia had a humor to it that was trying to inject that Pillars of the Earth just could not have done with its setting. But with all that, we have our black sheep. The first tree, which I don't have much to say about. I beat the game in about an hour and 30 minutes, which I allotted to it. And it was all pretty much the same thing. The scenery was pretty, and it's literally about a man telling a story of a dream to his wife. And it's all intertwined about the feelings of the loss of his father, who he hasn't really seen or talked to in a while. Now, I don't think this game has much of an audience, but I did find myself oddly reminiscing about things in my own past, in between things. So, if you want to possibly play it, I think you should play it with somebody you care about or enjoy the calming music, but don't expect epic gameplay when playing it. So the three games, 1 week. It's hard to say if you should get them all or not. They're very niche games. Pillars of the Earth, I think, is going to be good. Screw that toothbrush, though. But anyway, everybody, have a great day. I hope to see you all around. Slap that subscribe button, and because everybody has really seen Alien Isolation reviews, and it's been around for a while, I'm just going to be throwing some highlights up of my gameplay, and I don't do well with jump scares and horrors.